Where should the story start? Well, it started in 1963 with this design. And for 1963, for Gibson to launch a guitar that looked like this was a big, brave move. They got an automobile designer to come up with a shape, and they did them in they did 2 models of bass and 4 guitars. This is Firebird 1, which is the sort of so-called entry level, single pickup, no frills. Basically, they took the idea that Rickenbacker had originally in having a complete neck and body center section, and then just gluing these wings onto the side. I mean, it looks incredible. I mean, you just can't believe that they would have put this out in 1963. It's just it's way years ahead. But unfortunately, it didn't perform well, either on stage or in the marketplace. You know, it wasn't a popular item. You know, people were just too suspicious altogether. And it was an expensive guitar to make because, you know, you had to find these long pieces of mahogany to cope with the neck and the body. You know, have perfect, good quality wood. Plus, you've got this raked back headstock angle at the top there. So you can see how much waste wood must have been involved. An awful lot of cut off. So must have cost a lot of money to produce. Wasn't a success in the marketplace, and they sort of fell out of favour very, very quickly. So then Gibson decided in 1965 that they would stop making this particular model and redesign it. There's some story about Leo Fender or somebody at Fender complaining that they'd nicked his offset waist patent, which is basically these 2 dimensions here are not equidistant, you know, they're staggered. And Fender decided that was their copyright and that Gibson had no right to use it. That's what, when on the Fender guitars when it says offset or original contour body, that's basically what this refers to. Silly. Well, of course, by 1965, CBS had taken over Fender, so Fender really didn't care that much. So Gibson decided, well, since Leo Fender's no longer with the company and CBS are in charge, we'll redesign our Firebird to make it even more Fender-like. So they came up with this. Now, a lot of guitar historians and collectors see the redesigned Gibson Firebird as the beginning of the end of Gibson's reputation because it was such a horrible, horrible thing. It's just, you know, compared with the luxurious thought process that went into the design of this, even though it didn't sell, you have to admit it's a thing of beauty, a rather bizarre sort of beauty, but it's unique and it's something special about it. Whereas this could have been scribbled on a cigarette packet in a lunch break. This is a Firebird 5, so it's got a bit more fancy stuff on it than the other guitars. So you've got the full Maestro vibrola with the leaf and lyre engraved plate, tunematic bridge, 2 mini humbuckers, and but the bodies and the necks were all the same throughout the range, so they were all routed for 3 pickups. So they didn't have to dick around, you know, messing around with different routing combinations because everything was covered under this plastic escutcheon. And, you know, as soon as they came out, people said, what the hell is that? Gibson made that? That's just awful. It's the most horrible thing. And it's true, they were not brilliant, you know, but, like with all Gibson guitars, you have to, if you just play enough of them, eventually you'll find a good one. And I was very, very lucky because I bought this on eBay, sight unseen. I bought it because it was 20 numbers away from another Firebird that I had, and I could afford it. So I thought, it's a 5. I don't have a Firebird 5. I've never played one. I'd love to hear what it sounds like. It's 20 numbers away from my Firebird 3. Let's place my bid. So I won it. Over it came. It was a terrible condition. It was just minging. I mean, it was just awful. It wasn't set up properly. It had been stored a long time in somebody's barn. I think that was the story. Hadn't been played in many years. So I set to work setting it up and put it all back together as close to factory as it would go, because it is 100% factory. It hasn't been retrofitted with anything. And then as soon as I plugged it in, something just happened. It just sounded incredible. I mean, sustain, it's just, again, it just has this...
That's a humbucker pickup.
That's both pickups on, yeah, exactly.
Bright.
It's bright. Now, the thing about the Firebird pickups is they're almost too bright. In fact, the pickup in this guitar, I usually run it with the tone control at number 3, rolled all the way down, because without that, unless you tame that pickup, it comes with a shriek that is just cuts the top of your head off. It's just phenomenal and quite uncomfortable to listen to. But I remember hearing Eric Clapton playing his with Cream, and that's really what stemmed my interest, was seeing him using it and the great sound that he got out of his. Again, I could never make mine sound that good. But, you know, there's something about it that's unique to that guitar. And but I think when they came to, it's the same basic pickup, but I think on the original ones there was another magnet in the thing, or a metal plate of some sort on the bottom of the pickup that gave it extra top gain, which I think they took out of the pickup when they came to redesign the guitar. And as ugly as this thing is, it just performs, you know, sometimes you just pick up a guitar, as I said before, like with the SG, there's the special. Something about it, just something happens that's... And it's all in the wood. That's where the biggest source of the sound is. Even you wouldn't think that 2 pieces of solid timber would have any acoustic properties at all. But in my opinion, in my experience, that is the most important thing. You can spend thousands on pickups, pedals, amps, but if you haven't got the tree, it's not going to be a great guitar.